Hey, friends. This is Dr. Patrice Buckner Jackson, but you can call me PBJ. Welcome to another episode of Heart Work with PBJ, where we are disrupting cycles of burnout and compassion fatigue so that you can serve from the heart. Listen, friends. I need your help. If you would subscribe and share and rate and comment wherever you're listening to this episode, wherever you listen to this podcast, it helps us get this message out to more people. That's how the algorithms work. So do me a favor, make sure you let us know you're listening, say something back to us, subscribe so that we can keep getting this good message out. Friends, I'm so excited about these next few episodes. So as I shared with you all, I had a plan for opening the Heart Work Academy right now. So it's May 1st. Today would have been our orientation. But I've been led to hold and wait on that as I'm doing other things. But in preparing, I had the opportunity to interview a few ladies who've been a part of the Heart Work community and Heart Work Academy. And I still want to share these episodes with you. These phenomenal women not only have they experienced transformation, but their stories are going to be a blessing to you. I believe that you're going to see yourself in their stories. So I'm not going to wait to share these episodes with you. I'm going to share them now. So over the next couple of weeks, you are going to have the opportunity to meet several members of the Heart Work Academy, Heart Work community, and I cannot wait for you to meet them. So, y'all. Okay, so I am honored. I am honored. So, we are taking some time in the month of April to introduce you all to some of the members of the Heart Work community. And when I think about the Heart Work community, this powerful woman that you're going to meet today, she is one of the first people that comes to mind. From introducing the ebook to introducing the podcast to the Heart Work Academy, this woman has been there. She has been a part of all of it. And not just that, but along the way, she would send me a note. PBJ, this is how it's impacted my life. Thank you for what you're doing. And you don't know how much that means when you are doing your heart work, when you're doing something that you believe is your purpose, and for someone to come and say, oh, yeah, keep doing that, it means everything. So, Chrystina, before I even introduce you and allow you to say anything to the people, I need to say thank you to you. I need to say thank you to you. In those moments that I opened my email and there was a message from you about the ebook or about the academy or about the podcast, in those moments I needed it the most to know that I need to keep going. So thank you for being an encourager to the encourager. Thank you so much. And welcome to Heart Work with PBJ.
Thank you for having me.
I'm so excited to have you. So let's dig in because I want the people to get to know you a little bit.
Okay.
So tell us, who are you? Tell the people who you are.
I am Chrystina. I am a wife, a mother, and I disrupted the cycle of burnout. And I found myself in the midst of it. That's who I
Woo! Listen, you're about to make me scream and we just got started. Okay, bring it down, PBJ. Pull it together.
am.
Pull it together. Yes, you did disrupt the cycle of
I did.
burnout. Yes, you did. Okay, before we get into that, let's back up. Talk about how we know each other and why you even connected to the message and decided to join the academy. Like, where did all that come from?
Okay. We know each other. We worked at the same university for numerous years. We interacted on several, I think, on a few committees.
Mhm.
And once you start talking about the hard work and talking about the disruption of the burnout, at that time in my life, I was going through some things. I didn't know what I was going through. I have one daughter that's away in college. I have two other daughters that's currently in college. And I just didn't know where to begin. I didn't, you get so caught up in doing everything for everybody that you lose who you actually are. And that was me. So when I saw you posting about the Hard Work Academy and I had started watching your podcast, I was just like, okay, I might have to actually look into this. And I did. I did. I did not know what to expect. I did not know who else was going to be in the committee. Not committee, I'm sorry, in the academy. All I knew was I had taken a chance on everybody else. But everybody else I showed up for. Now it was time for me to show up for myself. I really didn't have any expectations. I didn't know what to expect. I just
Mm.
wanted to take a chance and say, okay, Chrystina, now is your time.
Oh.
That's what I did.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that, Christina. And even the way you introduce yourself now.
Yeah.
Because I remember a time when we would talk about who are you, what are you looking for, and you struggled with that. Talk about that a little bit.
I struggled with it because I didn't know who I was. You know, you hear people talk about empty nest syndrome. It's definitely real. It's definitely real. Um, I have a job. I work a professional job. I work 40 hours a week, just like many of us right now. And a job is only what it is. It's a job. You know, you are an employee to a job. If you decide to leave the job, or if your job decides they don't need you anymore, who are you? And in my case, my children were growing up. They were not mommy's babies anymore. In my mind, in my heart, they were. But once they got those driver's license, and they were on the go. So it left me just there.
Mm.
And it was a hard time. It was a hard time. I started trying to do other things for other people, just trying to fill that empty void. And it pretty much got me nowhere, but it was a part of my life that I had to go through.
Yeah.
I had to
Yeah.
go through.
So when you think about burnout and compassion fatigue, how would you explain what burnout looks like, or what it feels like, or even how it manifested for you?
For myself, burnout was everything became a routine. You get up, you go to work, you come home. You cook dinner or you don't cook dinner or you grab something for eat. Everything just became so routine. It wasn't anything that was, you didn't have a purpose. You know,
Mm.
I knew I was alive. I knew God has a purpose for all of us. But at that time, I couldn't find my purpose. All I knew was this is what I have done day after day after day, and this is what works. For different people, it's different. Some people burnout is anxiety. For me, it did affect my anxiety.
Mm.
I could feel it. Sometimes it was the heaviness.
Mm.
You know, it's much like when you give your story about your burnout experience and how you drove up there and you parked in your parking spot. And I was like, go ahead on, PBJ. But you parked in
Mhm.
your parking spot and all you could do was get to your office and shut your door. You don't really know what burnout is until you realize you can't keep going in the direction that you're going. And that's what I learned. I just couldn't keep going in that direction.
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
You shared something powerful with me this week about the picture of burnout and kind of a way to describe it. And I believe that through when I heard you say that, it just hit me to my core. The grocery store analogy. I need you to share that because somebody is listening to us who's in the midst of burnout and they don't know how to name it. They
Okay.
don't know what to call it. Will you share that with the people, because it was so good?
Okay. The example I used was, let's say for instance, you're gonna cook hamburgers for dinner. So you know you need hamburger meat, you need hamburger buns, and let's say you're just gonna put cheese on your burgers. That's it. And so burnout for me was getting out the car, knowing I'm just gonna get three things: hamburger buns, hamburger meat, and cheese. Going into the store, I don't get a buggy. I leave the
Mhm.
buggy alone and just say, I'm only getting three things. That's all I need right now.
Mhm.
And as I'm going to get those three things, I see a can of green beans. I see bananas. I see all this stuff, and I'm picking up stuff and I'm putting it underneath my chin. I'm putting it underneath my arm, carrying it underneath this arm. And I don't have any more space, but I'm still trying to grab my three things plus everything else for some strange reason I've picked up. And then I get to the checkout line and it's a line. And there I am holding everything. But all I needed was three things. So when I get to the conveyor belt, I'm slowly, but not slowly, I'm actually trying to rush to get all of this stuff off of me. And as I'm taking it off of me, as I'm taking the let's just say the bananas or the green beans or whatever else I may have, and I'm putting it on that belt, I feel free
Mm,
because I'm not weighed down carrying all this other stuff that it was never meant for me to get at that moment, in that time, in that now.
mm,
And then as I'm at the register, and of course the cashier is scanning my groceries, and she gives me a total. And that's when I realize me picking up everything else besides what I need to pick up, it costs me something.
mm.
It costs.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It cost you something. And there's somebody out there who has picked up the extra things
Mhm.
because it was a good idea, because it was on sale, because you thought it was going to go quick. Oh, it's no big deal. I can help them with that. It don't last that long. It's only one day. It's only a couple hours. It's only a couple weeks for that project. And we go along and we're just picking things up that seem like a good idea at the moment. And before we know it, our arms are full and we're holding on to things. And what could happen, Christina, is you could drop something
True. Mhm.
while you're carrying all that stuff. If you keep piling on, you're guaranteed to drop something. And when we drop something, somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
And it could be us.
Mm-hmm.
It could be us.
Could
So
be.
I appreciate when I heard that, I was like, sis, you better preach this burnout message because that's exactly, it feels like a heavy load.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like a weight, and then you put it down. It's like, oh, but
Yes.
then you find yourself paying for it,
Yes.
and there's a cost for it. So, talk to me about your experience in the Hard Work Academy, and maybe something that impacted you, or the thing that you feel like was most impactful for you.
Okay. When I joined the Hard Work Academy, it was a group of people. We didn't know who we were. Had no idea. We didn't know anything about anybody. On our first meeting, we introduced ourselves, and you told your burnout story. And to see the number of heads, even though you've told that story numerous times, to see the heads that were nodding and people that were just tuned in like it was the first time you said something, I knew it was the right place for me to be.
Mhm.
That night, you, in that group, in that academy, you didn't ask us what do we do for a living. That
Mhm.
wasn't important to you. It was more about what is your name and who are you? And what is it that you're looking for in the academy? And I remember you went and you just randomly picked people. And I remember I was listening to all these people with all these very good things to say. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I may have signed up for the wrong thing because I really don't know where I am right now. I
Mhm.
don't, I'm trying to figure out life. And while I was tempted not to say it, I felt safe. I felt as though I could be honest.
Yeah.
And when you asked me, and I said, well, honestly, I'm trying to figure out where I'm going. I didn't have an answer, you
Yeah.
know, and that to me was part of the beginning of finding who I was,
Mhm.
because everybody else, they came from different parts of life, or they were going through what they were going through. But for me to be able to say, I don't have it figured out.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get it together. I'm trying to overcome something right now.
Mhm.
So that
Absolutely.
really, really helped me.
Yeah. Talk to me about how, because you are different, Christina. I mean, you're the same woman. You have the same values. You have that deep purpose. But I'm looking at how bright you are. I'm looking at how light you feel. Like you are not the same person that we started this journey on. So, how have you changed or transformed?
Probably in our second session, maybe it was our first one, you mentioned therapy. During that time that you weren't working, you mentioned going to therapy. You said, all your years in student services, you had always recommended therapy. go get therapy, try to find your counselor. And I remember thinking to myself, now she went and found her therapist. Let me see what that means for me, because growing up, the way I grew up, you didn't always hear about people going to a therapist or going to a counselor. We
Mhm.
went to church, you prayed about it, and you kept it going.
Yeah.
So I tried, I went and I found me a therapist. And I remember when I sat down and I met with her, I was open with her about how I felt, what I was going through. And at the very end of our session, she said, well, do you feel like you're going to come back? I said, I had been praying about that before I came, before I came, because if it didn't set right with me, I'm not coming back.
Mhm.
So for me, that was my very first step in actually putting in work for myself. And I continue with therapy, and I still continue with therapy. And as I continue on through my process, one thing my therapist reminds me of is, you're not the person who you were the first day I met you.
Mhm.
When I first met you, you were heavy. You were carrying so much, and I was.
Yeah.
But now it's not so much about everybody else. I love everybody else. I love my husband. I love my children. I love my family. I love everybody. But now I'm also putting in the same work that I did for everybody else into myself.
Yes.
So I continue in therapy. I recently, probably since January, got me a health coach.
Come
I
on.
I have a health coach, is actually a couple. And one thing they stay on me about is trust the process. Now, they don't know anything about the Hard Work Academy. They don't know anything about my therapy, but it fits different parts of my life. And they say, trust the process. So when I think about the academy and the things I learned, and just me finding out who I am, all I can say is trust the process, because I didn't see it. I didn't understand why I went through what I went through. I didn't know how to fix it. It wasn't a way for me to tell people that were close to me, this is how I feel. All I could really do is seek help and just keep praying and trusting God. And
Yeah.
that's what I did.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love the way that you have surrounded yourself with support and resources.
Mhm.
Where before you were so focused on serving everybody else and being the resource
Yes.
that you didn't seek resources.
Hmm.
But now you're in a place in your life that you surrounded yourself with resources and
Hmm.
support. And it's a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing. And y'all, Christina's right. I'm quick to tell you, I am not a therapist. Okay. I am not a counselor and I don't try to be. So this academy is not counseling. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to do counseling along with the academy because we dig deep.
Hmm.
And we go into because we're checking our baggage. How did we get here? We're talking about our boundaries. We're looking for or discovering our purpose and our brilliance.
Hmm.
Having a counselor or therapy alongside of that is tremendous, tremendous support. So the fact that you have gotten to the place that you're pouring into you
Yes.
and you see the value of pouring into you,
Hmm.
it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. I love it. I love it because we forget we're the source for so many people.
Hmm.
But if you don't refill the cup, what you gonna give?
Nothing.
There's nothing for them to come get. So when we think about taking care of ourselves, we think it's selfish, we think it's self-centered, but it's not. It is critical to what you have in your hands. It's being a good steward.
Hmm.
I can't serve this community if I don't have a place that I'm being poured into. I wouldn't have anything to give to you all. So
Hmm.
you can't serve your clients, your customers, your students, your family, your children. You cannot have all of those drawing from you and there is nothing pouring in.
So true.
So I'll ask, where are you being filled up? That's what you need to think about.
Hmm.
Where are you? Where can you go that you're being filled up, that you are understood, that you are not judged, that you don't have to wear your mask, and you're being filled up? That is the question, my friends. That is the question. So just continuing here. Here is an announcement I'd like to make, and I'm so excited to make. I'm so excited to make. So not only is Chrystina loyal to the hard work community, child. Like when I say loyal, I mean like right there. But Chrystina has accepted the invitation to serve as our community liaison for this cohort of the Hard Work Academy. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Christina, I'm excited because I know your heart. And I know that you are connected not just to this message but this work. I'm excited because you're living in the fruit of it for yourself.
Mhm.
But I'm also excited because you're pushing yourself beyond your own comfort zone. So just talk to us a little bit about why you accepted this, what you're excited about.
And we talked, and when you told me, I was thinking to myself, hmm, she could have asked anybody. And I know you know a lot of people. She could have asked anybody. And you said, but you had been praying about it. And I just kept coming to your mind. And you said, okay. She said, you pray about it. And I'm gonna continue to pray about it. And I continued to pray about it. And I remember it was maybe about 2 or 3 days before I reached back out to you. And in my mind, I was like, okay, God, if I'm gonna do this, it's gonna be me and you, because I don't know much about social media. I know the basics, but I'm willing to take a chance on myself.
Mm.
When you asked me about doing this podcast, I was just like, but it took me a couple of minutes, and I responded back and said, yes, I would do it. Again, taking a chance on myself. A
Mm.
year ago today, 2 years ago today, 3 years ago today, it would have been, no, there's no way I could do this. I don't have time. I just don't, I can't fit it into my life right now. So with the academy, with counseling, with me trying to realize that I have to pour into myself.
Mm.
I have to go through this process and find out who I am. One thing I often told my therapist was I felt like I was in a forest surrounded by trees. And I can get out the forest. I just didn't have the confidence to take a path to get out.
Mm.
I didn't even want to go to the left, go to the right, go. I just want to just stay in my comfort zone. Now in my life, I'm able to say, okay, take that chance. Try to go to the left. If that don't work out, back up, go another direction. And so for me right now, I am learning to trust myself, to put my trust in God, and for me to say, okay, let me find out who I am besides being a wife, a mother, an employee. Let me work on finding who I am, what
Mm.
serves me. And most importantly, learning that I'm not alone. You know, a lot of times I felt like I was the only person, going through this. I couldn't identify it was burnout. I didn't know what it was. But as I'm talked to different people and you find out, you're really not alone. We all battle through certain things. So it's just a matter of us getting out of the battle. So for me,
Mm.
stepping out of my comfort zone is, yes, that's what I'm trying to do right now.
Oh, well, listen, you're not stepping out by yourself. You're not stepping out by yourself. Because I see your light. I see your light. You know, we walk through the exercise of connect the dots. That's something we'll
Yep.
do in the academy. So
Mhm.
you all will get to do that. But as we were walking through connecting your dots, and I could see, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Now I see what's going on here. And there was even, I think it was a text message that you sent me talking about how you've lived in the shadows,
Oh yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
but now you're taking chances to come out of the shadows
Hmm.
and taking steps to see where that brilliance is going to lead you.
Yeah.
I love.
Because I was in the shadows holding everything together. Everything for everybody. You're holding it together. And I was like, okay,
Oh,
let me try something for myself.
Oh my gosh. Let's talk about that for a minute because I don't want somebody to miss that.
Mhm.
There are other people out there who are, I don't need to shine. I don't need to be in the spotlight. Just let me be in the background. I'll hold it all together. I got you, but don't put me out there. I don't want to be seen. You go be seen. I'll do all the work, but you go be seen. And what I'll say to that is I think there's power in knowing, where you're called to be. But if you're shying away from that spot because of things that have been said to you or about you in your past, or for some self-esteem reason, or maybe you weren't built up or encouraged to step forward, I would encourage you to step forward. All of us have a space, and there's room for you too. There's room for you to shine.
Mhm.
All of us have a space. I don't have to be intimidated by Christina joining me. As a matter of fact, I'm grateful because greatness does not grow in isolation. You need a team, you
Mhm.
need community, you need people. So the fact that she's coming, I'm going to make room for her to shine because there is room for all of us in our own brilliance in the thing that God is calling us to be. So if you are a person who's saying, "No, I'm good, I don't have to be seen, I'm just stay back here behind the curtain, pulling all the strings now, you making it all happen, but you want to stay behind the curtain and not being seen," I'm calling you in. It's time for you to come forth. It's time for you to let that light shine freely, not worried about what nobody else thinks, not worried about what they're going to say, but to be who God created you to be because you're accountable for that gift. It's not about you wanting to be seen. Christine, I got to talk to somebody. Somebody needs to hear this. It's not about you wanting to be seen. It's about you having a responsibility. Somebody is waiting on you.
Mhm.
Somebody needs to hear you. Somebody needs that brilliance that you have. But because you're so comfortable in the background, they can't find you and they're looking for you. So we're calling you in. We're calling you into the light. Come on. It's time to do it. And you know what I've learned? The more we hold on to something that needs to get out, the sicker we get.
Yeah.
It's almost like an overdue baby. You can't hold that baby for so long.
Mhm.
When it's time for the baby to come, the baby is going to come. And if you try to restrict it, you will harm yourself and the blessing.
Mhm.
So I'm just so grateful. I'm so grateful for you agreeing to do this work with me. But mostly, I'm grateful for
Thank you.
your heart of service and your heart of understanding and no judgment. Because, friends, you can't do this alone. You can't do this alone. As I was thinking through and praying about what this next cohort, because it's going to be different. You all, for your cohort, it was kind of like a membership. So we met once a month, right? And I learned so much in that experience. And what I learned is this is not a membership because people can't afford to wait once a month to be free. People need to be free now. They need to disrupt burnout now. Okay. So that's why we're going 8 weeks straight. We're going 8 weeks straight with coaching, and Christina is going to help. She's going to be in the discussions with you all and prompting you to have those discussions and encouraging you. And y'all, it is going to be the best experience and the most impactful transformational thing you've done for yourself in a very long time,
Yeah.
if ever. So, Christina, is there anything that you want to say to people who are thinking about it or people who might just join us? Is there anything you want to say to them today?
You'll find things out about yourself that you didn't know. You will have the encouragement, the support, and most importantly, you'll have PBJ, um, and her being who she is. She's very, I mean, your heart just shines. I don't, I don't take this lightly. I look at you. I look at the work you did. I look at how honest you are. you know Everybody isn't honest. Everybody doesn't say, I went through this, this is what I went through. But when you say it and you tell that story, and I have listened to it so many times. Um, it speaks volumes. It speaks volumes. So
Mm,
I think anyone that's looking for a community that, like you said, it doesn't judge, because we never judge anyone in the community. Sometimes, during the session, somebody might say something that I might need to hear. I may say something that someone else needs to hear. It's more about us helping each other
yeah.
than having a group that's not working together. This group worked together. It worked
Mhm.
together, and we were there for each other.
Yes. And we'll continue to be.
Yeah.
We'll continue to be. So y'all come join us. Um, I'm so proud of you, Christina.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of your courage. And I'm so proud of your heart and your love for other people and your willingness to serve. So this is about to be good. Let's go. Let's
Let's go.
go.
Yes.
This is about to be good. All right, friends. Listen, we're gonna let you go today, but you can have more. You can join us in the Heart Work Academy. And friends, like I said, there's 25 spots. I know it's not for everybody. So if it's not for you, God bless you. Keep listening to the podcast. We're gonna keep serving. Because this is not to coerce, coerce. This is an invitation. This is an invitation. You know you're drowning, you know you're under a heavy weight, you know you're in burnout, you know you're in compassion fatigue, where the price tag of caring has become too expensive. If you know you can hardly breathe, you better come get your breath back. And I know, no doubt in my mind, it's going to happen for you, just like it's happened for all the other ladies that went through the process. So, as always, you are powerful, you are significant, and you are loved. Christina and I cannot wait to serve you and to love on you. Love always, PBJ.